Welcome in everybody to the first episode of season 2 of Real Recognizes Real. I am your host, College Cottrell Simpson, and of course, it's only right that we start the season off with another Buckeye. Last year we kicked off the first season with Marvin Harrison Jr. This year wanted to go to the reigning defending national champions of the college football season, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and had to go with my guy Emeka Egbuka. So really, without further ado, let's really just get right into the breakdown here. So the pros with Emeka's game is that this kid is an elite blocker. He is always finding work in the run game, and not even just the run game. That's a guy where you can put him, you could split him out wide, and if it's a receiver screen, you know he's going to give 110% effort to make sure the play goes exactly how it's supposed to. You know he's going to do his part. Getting away from the run game, what you really care about with receivers. His route running is so precise and he's so purposeful with every route that he runs. There is no wasted movement when it comes to Emeka. Everything that he's doing is pretty calculated and he knows what he needs to do to set up defenders to turn certain ways to ultimately open up the space where he knows he needs to get to make himself available for the quarterback. Just kind of piggybacking right off that, another thing, has high IQ. He does all the little things right. He's a very unselfish player as well. A lot of that shows up in the run game, especially like with his hands. His hand placement is beautiful. Ultimately, when players are starting to go outside of him, you can see where he starts to let go. And then just the understanding of the game, like when plays are broken down and being able to run back to the quarterback and just making himself available. You love that from a player, especially, you know, a guy like Emeka who spent 4 years at Ohio State and really turned out to be a leader of that receiver group that was headlined by Jeremiah Smith there. Another thing that I kind of wanted to mention, just because I know I've seen the clips circulate around like social media and things like that, they were on the bench in the national championship game, and Emeka's looking at the film and he's talking to Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith and Hartline and you know his coaches that were available there. And he's like, hey, whenever they're lined up like this, you know, the Notre Dame cornerback number 29, Christian Gray, whenever he's lined up like this, we have to be able to take advantage of the leverage in this situation here. And ultimately it led to the 3rd and 11 conversion to Jeremiah Smith that sealed the natty for Ohio State. So just being able to have a guy like that on your sideline that truly understands the game and knows how to put people, even if it's not himself, but just put his teammates and his team in the right position to be successful in the future. You gotta love having that on the sideline there. And the last thing I wanted to go over with the pros there, he's very reliable in the pass game. He has a good catch radius. He's going to throw pretty much everything you throw at him. And then just, again, piggybacking off that, he only had one fumble his entire career while at Ohio State. And of course, it happened in the national championship game, and that's going to be one of the plays that we go over here. But for the most part, you know, you get the ball security with him. He's really a tight end in a receiver's body. He blocks. He does all the little things. He's going to be your quarterback's best friend. So I like to look at him like he's basically a tight end, but he's just built like a receiver. Now, moving over to the cons, all the cons that I had after all the film that I watched from him, there was nothing bad that I saw on tape that seemed to be like a repeated problem. Of course, you're going to have certain plays where, you know, he may not have blocked through the whistle and things like that. Just your normal stuff throughout the course of a game, but nothing that seemed like it was a repeated problem. So for me, all my problems are the unknown. Top one being we don't know what the top end speed is like for Emeka. He's a guy who he looks fast on the field, but I don't really see him running away from a ton of defenders there. He didn't run the 40 at the combine, so I don't know what that top end speed for him will look like. Another unknown for me is he's really only seen action in the slot. So if you're looking for a receiver that can move around quite a bit and things like that, that might not be your guy, especially for a team that's, you know, picking in the first round and, you know, they're looking for a guy to come in right away and, you know, change the entire room there and have the versatility depending on scheme and things like that. Emeka might not be your guy just because you haven't seen too much of it on tape there. And probably the biggest unknown here, and I don't know if this is necessarily a knock on him or you know, just his circumstance there, but if you're picking a receiver in the first round, a high probability that you want him to be your number one guy. In his 4 years when he saw the field at Ohio State, he was never that number one option there. And, he's played with some greats: Garrett Wilson, Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jeremiah Smith this past year. So it's not like, he's playing with bums and he just so happens to be the number two guy. But is that his role? Like, does he have to be the number two guy on a team? Can he be your number one guy and you build your receiver room around him? Or is he like the perfect complementary piece to a 1A caliber receiver there? So those are my biggest question marks with him. As far as his game goes, though, I think he's very polished, very, very much a plug and play player from day one. But that just leads me right into my player comp for him, and it's one that I've been seeing around a lot. And I don't like to be lazy with my player comparisons here, but to me, this one just jumped out way too much to me, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions. Now, the one thing with Amon-Ra that you kind of have to remember that I'm not comparing Emeka to all pro, Pro Bowl Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm looking at it more so from the standpoint of what skill set do they have, and coming out, I think Emeka is a lot more polished than Amon-Ra was coming out of USC. But just looking at their measurables here, I mean, basically same height, same weight. Amon-Ra loves to block. Emeka loves to block. And Amon-Ra is going to kill you in the slot with precision, because obviously with that 4.61, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but you don't really have question marks with Amon-Ra speed because of the playmaker that he is. So I think, Emeka should and would model a lot of his game after what Amon-Ra has been able to do with the Detroit Lions. And in that case, you kind of see that Amon-Ra is the number one guy with the Lions. Like, he wasn't that, high or, super prolific guy coming out of college, but he's taken over that number one role there. And Detroit's been very successful in the passing game. So I think Emeka could put a lot of that stuff to bed, depending on the situation there. But yeah, I really see Amon-Ra. I just feel like this is the exact type of receiver that Emeka is. And I think right away you'll be able to see the impact that he's going to have on the game. So again, just for the ones that don't remember, but just how the breakdown is going to go. We got 3 games. We'll typically have just 3 games there. Sometimes there may be a 4th game, just depending on what's out on tape, but we'll go through the 3 games, probably be about 20 plays total. And that'll wrap everything up. But the 3 games this week that we're going to go over, got the college football playoff game versus Georgia from 2022. And then I got 2 games from 2024, 2 more playoff games, because it seems like that's where Emeka really shines bright. He shines in those big time moments. So I got 2 more games from the 2024 playoff, one versus Oregon, and then another one being the national championship game versus Notre Dame. So, but with that said, we're going to start out in 2022 here versus Georgia. You got CJ Stroud as the quarterback in this one. And first play here, you will see Emeka lined up in the slot. And this is against man coverage. So let's go ahead, take a look at the play here. Lined up in man coverage, sees the room, makes a perfect cut or move on his defender there to just free up a small window of space there. We'll watch it again from the end zone view. Kind of cut it off there. We'll go back 10 seconds. But we'll watch it again from the end zone view here. You kind of see he sets up his defender, gives him a move, and just creates a small little pocket of space there on the underneath drag route to ultimately pick up a first down and keep the chains rolling for Ohio State there. Nothing crazy. To me, I think that's just a good play to kind of show you the route savvy of Emeka. He's great at understanding leverage and knowing what he needs to do to set up defenders to just create a window for his quarterback to get him a ball. Again, that's not a world beater kind of play there, but I think it's just a good intro to kind of just let you know what Emeka does and, just the little nuances of his game that will create space and give his quarterback an opportunity to get him the ball. But we will move on a little bit later in this game here. We got 10:46. All right, we'll just start it from here. Another one where it's man coverage and you see him lined up in the bunch formation. of course, in the slot. And Georgia defender gets some hands on him. He gives him the out breaking route. Huge window. CJ Stroud, no problem at all getting him the ball there. We'll go ahead, play it again here. Sets him up. Georgia defender gets the hands on, gives him a great space for CJ to give him the ball. And I mean, just perfect pitch and catch kind of play there. CJ, as great as he was, he didn't have to be great in that situation there because there was so much room. But moving on here, we got zone coverage. So we get a different look from Georgia this time around. They throw some zone at Emeka, and he's still able to find the soft spot in it and get the completion there. So you see him lined up bottom of the screen. One of the few times where you actually see him lined up outside wide, but see there, it's the zone coverage. He's sitting right in the middle of the zone. Again, it seems like that's not really much there, just because of how much space he had there. But again, I think this is more so just showing that he knows the windows and knows where he needs to go, put himself in perfect view of CJ, making the easy throw for him. I think this is important to me because a lot of the times you can see receivers go off and do their own thing there. So understanding the coverage, understanding where you need to be, and just giving your quarterback as big of a window as possible is always huge for me. Now, last play from the Georgia game, only had 4 from this one, just because I think the more recent ones kind of show you a little bit more, especially you can see the progression of him throughout the years there, compare sophomore year to senior year there. But wanted to at least bring up this game because of the importance of it, especially, everybody knows that Marvin Harrison Jr. went down in this one too. So you kind of seen him, how he had to step up and ultimately be a big time factor after that injury there. So we will go to 1736 here. Of course, you got Emeka lined up in the slot down there. Set his defender up perfect, makes him miss off the tackle, gets a first down for Ohio State. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get a clear view from it from the end zone view. So I'll go ahead and go back to the all 22 angle. Again, you see him set him up. I mean, Georgia defender's already playing off coverage. Emeka has the world as his oyster in this spot. You got man coverage. You can set your defender up any way you want him to go, and he does a great job of doing that. So he sticks his foot, obviously causes the defender to react late there, and then, spin move out of the tackle, pick up another first down there. Again, just great job at understanding leverage and just knowing what he needs to do, moving forward to create that space for his quarterback. But next game we'll go to the Oregon game from this year's playoff. All right, so first play, we actually start off pretty early. This was a clinic from the entire Ohio State bunch there, but Emeka, let's get into the blocking game. Let's see what he can do, when he's lined up and we want him to block some people. So first play here, you see him at the top of the screen, get the hands on the DB there. And the crazy thing is that I know this is an RPO, but this is what I'm talking about, though. The play is literally not even going to him. And I know it could be a run play because clearly it's an RPO, but he's on the backside of this play here. And there was never a doubt the ball was going to be going over there. But Emeka is giving all the effort in the world, blocking the receiver. And we see Jeremiah Smith spring for the touchdown there. But that's not the important part. The important part is Emeka, even when the play is not coming to his side there, he's focused on doing his job to make sure that his team's in the best possible spot moving forward there. So great example of that. And of course, it turned out to be a Jeremiah Smith touchdown there. But moving on later in this game, we'll go to the 5:18 mark. A little bit more showing just the savviness and sitting in zone coverage there. So you'll see Emeka at the top of the screen there. just sits down, easy route, easy little just curl route right at the marker. Um, Again, nothing special, but it's the little things, man. The attention to detail on the little things. Like, he is going to be a coach's dream. You get right up to the marker, and he's a little bit short. This wasn't third down, so I don't mind that he was a little bit short. He sat. He knew the corner was probably sitting. The corner is literally sitting at the marker there, so it's all right if you pull your route up, a yard or two to just give yourself the space there. But look at him, sits down, reliable hands, high pointed it, caught it. That is great work from Emeka right there. Now we'll go on just a few plays later in this one. Got the 6 so 9 mark. Boom, perfect. So you see Emeka in the slot up top there, and this is the play right up the seam. Boom. It looks like it's a cover two coverage there, and goes right up the seam. And I talk about not knowing his top end speed. I still don't. But being able to beat the linebacker and off coverage, and obviously he's trying to carry Emeka, it is hard as hell to carry Egbuka up the seam. Like, that's an impossible job, asking your linebacker to take care of that. So look at it again here, being able to know that it's two high safeties up top there, and knowing that the margin of error is pretty small. You got to go right up through. You got to split them, and then you got to keep the window open so that Will Howard can deliver you a perfect ball. And it ultimately ends up being a touchdown. This play was absolutely phenomenal. The catch is even tougher. You got linebacker draped all over him. It was not a big time window to put the ball in there. Emeka found a way, made a big play, and this just boosted the momentum that Ohio State had already had in this game. And this is really what started to break that game wide open there. Move on. Got to the 9-minute mark. Want to show off just a little bit more of his route running ability. So there you go here. He's not, I believe the arrow is going to show him somewhere that he's not, but this is going to be Emeka down here. He's down in the slot, bottom of the screen, and see what happens here. Set him up on the outside, stuck his foot, got some yards after the catch, got a first down. So let's go ahead, back it up one more time here. And I'm going to stop it right when the setup happens, because I think when I talk about the precision, boom, he breaks down. You can look at the defender here. The defender, even though it's just a small hesitation, defender had to respect the setup of him being able to potentially go out. Now, of course, it's zone coverage here. It looks like it's probably a cover 3. I would say probably cover 3 match, just because you have your linebackers here. It may even be cover 1. It's possible. But to me, I think it's either a match or it's cover 1. But yeah, this defender has to respect that Emeka started the outbreaking portion of the route. He goes back inside, gets the completion there, and then you see the little run after the catch there to ultimately get the first down. That's great work from Emeka. Great work. No wasted movements. You're taking care of everything you need to do, and then you go pick up the first down. That's what I'm talking about. But to end this game, we're going to go with 3 straight plays that show you the running aspect, the run blocking aspect of his game. Just because, as this game was out of hand, I mean, the score was at 34-0 at a point. Ohio State wanted to take some time off the clock there, and I think Emeka and a lot of receivers would get disinterested in those moments. Not Emeka, Egbuka. So we'll start here. Arrow is actually correct this time, and you see, setting him up down on the linebacker, and not a crazy game, but Emeka more than did his job. I love the end zone view of this. You see Emeka, he's going to crack down on this play. They actually use Emeka to crack down a ton. So it sets up, boom, gets out there. G. Sky's responsible for the guy on the outside. That play was blocked exactly how it's supposed to be. And you can do stuff like that with the Emeka. Normally, I feel like a lot of the times that's going to be a tight end's job to make those kinds of plays and be involved like that in the run game. You don't have to worry about that when you got number 2 on the field. Now, just got 2 more plays here. We're going to go to 2202. So you see him at the top of the screen. He's off. He's looking for work. Boom. Now, you may say that's a little bit of a hold there. The flag actually wasn't called on the Emeka, but I love the tenacity of the block. Like, that's what's important to me. Of course, I think he probably got away with one there, but that's not what's important here. I'm looking at this safety's 15 yards off the ball, and he's going and he's getting into the work with them, and he gives him the hug there. But I love the effort on a play that doesn't need to be like that. This game, at this point in the game was completely out of hand, and Mecca's still giving you 110% effort in the run game and blocking it up. Last play we got, we will go 22-24. Again, another run play. Again, just setting the scene of the energy that he has. Got Emeka up top, lined up. Boom. Seals the edge, gets Quinshawn out of there. Big time gain. Looks like 20-yard gain. And that is all set up from number 2 on the outside there. I think this one is one that sits with me and resonates with me, because if you go out and you immediately get Jabbar Muhammad, the Oregon corner that's sitting there, if you go out and immediately get him, that's probably going to open up a bigger opportunity to get a holding call, because you have to kill that space there, and then Jabbar is going to already know the play is bouncing outside. I think the patience here and just knowing that the play is designed to get out there, it is beautiful, beautiful work here from Emeka. So you'll see what I see. So he sets it up like he's going inside to kind of force the Oregon defense. So you get the 2 defenders here. You want them to fly and think that the play is hitting here. But they come down. Emeka meets him at the point there, closes off that space, and then you let go. He starts to get on the outside of you. You let go, and that happens. So great work from Emeka. We'll see it one more time here. Great work getting off the defender before a hole can get reached there. That's how you get an edge, and that's how you're supposed to be blocking in the run game. But that is enough of that game. And now we're going to go to the last one from the national championship game to close us on out here with Emeka's film. Go boom. And get that up. So we got 7 plays here, and there would be all wrapped up with our first one. We'll go to 352. All right. So we got Emeka in the slot. This is one play where he finds the soft spot in the zone. So you see him up there in the slot and zone coverage. And I love this play because he comes back to the football, and you see it better from the end zone view. So if you look here, Emeka's not pictured. He's off on the right. And we see it's a play action pass. You see Emeka come across the field, and he's covered. Let's go back just a little bit more here. I'm going to pause it. After the play action happens and Will gets to his spot, at this point, yes, obviously we know momentum is taking Emeka this way, but he's going over here. The ball's already gone. Like, the ball is not in Will's hands at that point. He's throwing it to a spot that he thinks he's going to be, but Emeka does a great job. He's behind him. Emeka's probably on like the 22-yard line right now, or 23-yard line. The defender in front of him is on the 21, and he sees the ball coming. Emeka comes back to the football to make a play on that. Like, that is great Great work. A lot of people would just, keep running down the line there and hope the quarterback just wait till he becomes available. Emeka doesn't even take the chance. He goes back, he gets the football, he gets out of bounds right at the marker. It wasn't a first down, but I mean, he was right there, um, you know, to get the catch there. So that is great work from Emeka. Now, this is an aspect that I didn't necessarily see a ton from Emeka. I mean, obviously he's tenacious in the run game and just in general when he's blocking. But this is a play where I thought showed some real physicality, and I had to show it off here. So you got to Mecca down in the slot, little out route, nothing crazy, ton of room in front of him. He lowers the shoulder, picks up a couple extra yards there. I love the physicality. When you got receivers that aren't afraid to get their hands dirty, like that's what you want. That's what you want to see in the pass game. I don't think the end zone view really does it justice here. So we'll watch it one more time from the all 22 angle, gets it at the 30, lowers the shoulder, gets some extra yards there, and picks up the first down for Ohio State. Great work from Emeka there. Now we're going to go to the 9:21 mark. Actually, yeah, we'll go there. All right, so you see him in motion. You have Emeka coming on the drag route. Again, nothing too crazy there. I just think this is another good example of showing that it's showing how Emeka understands the leverage and making himself available for his quarterback. So nothing too crazy here. Nice drag route though, setting him up, weave through the traffic, make yourself available, easy completion for Will Howard, and make it a shorter distance to try and convert on third down there. Moving forward, we'll go back to the run game. You're going to notice the trend with me. With Emeka's film was so fun to watch just because I knew how aggressive and how physical he played, but wanted to make it a point that this is one of those. He's going to come in and be an immediate top 5 blocker at the receiver position. Like that's how much I value his blocking ability there. So you'll see him at the top of the screen. Big time block. He tries to go get others as well. That's starting to come into the play. And ultimately, you see Quinshawn's fight helps him get into the end zone. But I mean, you got to weave through, navigate through people. He got chopped down here as well. That's just great effort from a guy on the outside there. That's what you aspire your receivers to do in the run game. So we just got a few more plays in this one before we are all wrapped up. We're going to 1804. If we can get there. All right. So first play in the second half. Again, this is what I was talking about when they use Emeka to crack down a lot. You put him in motion and you want him to crack down on the backside player. Boom. Gives him the crack. There was a slight hold there. No one's asking for the flag, but Emeka's block was spring Quinshawn on this big time run. They're asking a receiver to crack down on defensive end. Like, look at this. Boom. Stuffed it up right on up, opened the hole, gave Quinshawn the runway to take off for this big time run. I can't say it enough, man. I can't say it enough. This is a guy who brings you so much value and not just being that. That's why I don't care about the concerns of him being number one receiver. That's why I don't care if he can take the top off of defense because he has this skill set here. Now, go ahead and move to the last play that I do want to go over here because it was probably his worst. It was definitely his worst play of this game. But it was the one that I said his only fumble of his career. And of course, it happens in the last game of his career in the national championship game. But we'll go ahead, take a quick peek at it here. It is going to be a jet sweep. So you see they're lined up in bunch. Usually when Emeka's out wide, it's either a run play or they're putting him in motion and things like that, which is why I said you don't really see him with much action outside of the slot. But you see, Will puts Travion in motion, then gives him the toss there. Makes a great play, made a lot of defenders miss, but ultimately coughs up the football here. Notre Dame recovers. But this just also goes to show you the versatility that he has, that you can use him in the pass game like this. You can put him on a jet sweep. And although the top end speed is an unknown, he's elusive. I mean, he can make people miss. Look at this here. Follows his box great, picks up the extra yard, switches hands. I mean, he did everything by the book. Just a great play by the Notre Dame defender to punch the ball out and ultimately get the turnover there. But that is it this week for our episode and our breakdown of Emeka Egbuka. Next week we will be back. I don't know which player we're going to do yet, but I'm thinking Will Johnson. Will Johnson is going to be next on the list here. This year I actually have all of the players that I wanted to go over already. So last year we were kind of doing it week by week as we broke down the film. This year we got the full slate already. So I'll go ahead and just kind of let you guys know what to expect moving forward here. We got Will Johnson of Michigan, my man Kyle Kennard, edge rusher from South Carolina, Jabbar Muhammad, guy who was featured in the video with Oregon, at corner, lined up on Emeka from time to time. We got the nation's sack leader in Mike Green from Marshall. Got Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. Walter Nolan from Ole Miss, defensive tackle. And then two guys who hit close to home. You got Harold Fannin Jr. playing out tight end in Bowling Green in the MAC. And then Ohio State QB transfer Quinn Ewers down in Texas. So definitely a fun slate of athletes moving forward here. Looking forward to doing this every week. If you guys got any suggestions, of course, I'm all ears. Even if I can't do a full breakdown, I would love to look at the tape and just kind of let you know what I think about certain players. But yeah, that wraps us up for the week, and look forward to seeing you guys here next week.